Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Whether you're tuning in on the radio dial here in Mississippi, we welcome you all back to our program. Also, those tuning in through our online affiliates around the world, we're glad to have all of you with us as well. I'm excited to welcome Skywalker Payne to our program today. Now, Skywalker is an individual who's been able to use her voice not only as a voiceover artist, but also as a storyteller as well. We're going to talk to her about that journey of what it's been like for her to do what she loves and to be able to see the response, and also what it was like for her to be able to realize the gift that she's been given and how she's been able to share that with all of you. If you're just not hearing about Skywalker, we'll tell you at the end of our broadcast how you can be able to stay connected with her. But Skywalker, hello to you and welcome to the program.
Welcome. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, the pleasure is definitely all mine. So, first of all, I just want to say it's been great connecting with you. You and I met, I should say, through a mutual friend of ours, Earl Hall, who's also, of course, an individual who's known in the voiceover community as well as a radio personality himself. You, though, as I mentioned, Skywalker, have not only been able to do what you love as a voiceover artist, but also just in sharing stories as well. What has it been like for you, Skywalker, to be able to have realized the interest that you had in storytelling, and then to be able to share that with the world?
Well, my storytelling got started over 20 years ago because I actually went to college in Denver and got a degree in storytelling. I did not come from a storytelling family. I actually just discovered it after being a performing artist for over 15 years. I used to dance, and I'm a writer, and I wrote poetry. But when I started storytelling, I started telling folk tales. And I had this unbelievably freeing experience in telling stories. Now, when I performed as a performing artist, I would love dancing and love sharing my work. But at the end of the performances, I always had this empty feeling or sad feeling, which I haven't yet been able to figure out why that was. But when I told stories, when I began telling folk tales, because they weren't personal and because I had direct eye-to-eye contact with the people in my audience, I had this feeling of elation and community and joy and fun. And that's what storytelling does. It's actually a co-creative process because you can't tell a story to yourself. You need an audience, and the best audiences are live audiences. Yeah. And I've had the privilege of telling in Denver and Iowa, throughout the state of Iowa, Des Moines, Chicago, New York, and it's always a pleasure. It's an experience. It's fun.
Skywalker, that brings up an interesting question. There are a lot of people out there who may be listening to this conversation who may have realized they have a passion for something like storytelling or poetry or even voiceover, which we'll get more into. But it's the courage to pursue it, the courage to believe in oneself that sometimes hold them back. What do you think was instrumental in you, Skywalker, not giving in to fear and having the courage to pursue what you loved?
Well, with the storytelling, I'll go back to being a performance artist. I started off, and when I went to college, when I graduated from high school, my majors were dance and drama. Unfortunately, I dropped out at the end of the first semester because the school I went to, did not get the support I needed. Being the type of teenager I was, I needed someone to say, just hang in there, it's hard work. And I didn't have camaraderie, which is essential in theater and dance. But I proceeded to perform for 15, 20 years because I loved to dance and I loved being in front of an audience. With the storytelling, because I pursued it in college and I was in a community, Denver, which supported storytelling, it wasn't so much of a challenge there or even in Des Moines, but I was only able to storytell part-time because I wasn't doing it. I didn't have an agent, and I was married, and I had a part-time job. And I always tell people I had a midlife crisis, and I became a nurse for 10 years. But even as a nurse, I continued to tell stories. Every time there was an event in the hospital or the school when I could tell stories, I told stories. I told stories online. And when I moved here to Homer, Alaska, I was able to work as a nurse and began to once again tell stories before an audience. And what it is with me, I write, and I've tried, and I've self-published, but I never had an audience. I'm the type of person who needs immediate feedback. Okay. And even when I would be hesitant, I just kept doing something I loved. And I think the main thing is if you love something, you do it no matter what. Whether you are making money, you make adjustments, you might step back like I did when I had my midlife crisis, but you keep coming back to what feeds your heart and soul, and you do it. And eventually it starts to pay off in ways that feed you, maybe not necessarily monetarily, but feeds your heart, feeds your soul, makes you want to get up in the morning. And with me, it's find more stories, practice stories, find ways to get people to listen to stories and appreciate them. Here in Homer, I actually started with what we call Homer Storytellers. I'm the only professional storyteller in this town. It's a small town. There's only population 5,000. But in the past 3 years, we've held this annual celebration called Celebration, and now we meet every month. And the group has grown from a small 4 to last Saturday. We had 11 people telling stories.
Wow.
So it's a matter of just holding on to what is important to you, to what makes you feel alive.
Right. You know, that sounds like a message I've seen you share on social media, Skywalker, so I want to talk to you about that. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome Skywalker Payne to our program today. Skywalker is, if you heard her say here, she's a voiceover artist, she's a storyteller, a poet, a lover of words, and a lover of life. We're talking with her about the journey that she's been on, what it's been like for her to share with all of you. You mentioned the immediate response, but of course, you know, for a lot of us these days, Skywalker, we have to kind of do with the delayed response that can be the case with social media. I've seen you share some inspirational messages on social media. What has that platform been like for you to connect with people literally around the world, many, of course, who don't know you personally, but have been able to find you online? What has that experience been like?
It's actually growing. I just in the past month made the commitment and jumped and got an iPhone and got on Instagram. And that has opened up a following which had not been happening on Facebook, because actually I found I like being able, and I can get in front of that camera and talk for a minute easily. And I've found every day there's someone new liking what I do. And I've also joined some groups on Facebook, and I'm finding women groups, and I'm finding and meeting new women. And I belong to one specific group called Heart of All Women, which is not about business. It's really about the hearts of women and supporting women. And there I've made connections with women in the Philippines, in New Zealand, in Australia, in Sweden. And it's been heartening and enlightening and inspiring to find people who respond to what I'm doing, to understand what I'm saying, and particularly to build this growing sisterhood, international sisterhood of women who are interested in all kinds of creative and spiritual things.
Right. Right. Well, it has to be an amazing thing, Skywalker, and that brings us back to how you and I initially connected, because, as I said, among other things involving the creative community, you are a voiceover artist. Another thing that sometimes is a delayed reaction, right? I mean, you don't always are able to hear how people, you know, are resonating with your work. When you do hear from people, though, and you talked about that live performance and being able to be in front of a live audience and get that immediate reaction, when you're able to hear from people, Skywalker, how you've connected with them, does that make you feel as though you are doing exactly what you're supposed to do, even if it may come with its own challenges?
Yes. And it's actually starting to happen now more than it had in a while. The group I'm with, the Heart of All Women, I participated in a tele-summit earlier in the month, and we were offering gifts to people who watched, and one woman actually communicated with me, and we talked on the phone, and she was drawn to me because of my voice. And we had a very good conversation, and it was really heartening to know that people are hearing my voice, that I can help people to discover and expand their voice, which is important to me, and which is one of the things one of the projects I'm working on is helping women to expand what I call to make their magnificent messages massive. And I tell people I'm in the process of making my message massive, and I mean massive in terms of a big, important way, and also in the terms of reaching more people. Because I'm being a word person, I'm kind of not drawn to the word viral, because when I look it up, it means virus. And having been a nurse, having a virus isn't a good thing. So I started penning Be Massive, because we need massive, magnificent messages in these days, things that words that inspire people and motivate people to be good, to bring out their best. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. You know, I think one of the big challenges for a lot of people, and I have gone through this myself, Skywalker, is getting in your own way. How have you kind of not been able to fall into that trap of getting in your own way and just realizing that your gift is going to make room for you and being okay with wherever it takes you?
Well, that's an everyday challenge. I mean, some days I can wake up and I'm clear as the sky is today. But sometimes I wake up and I'm cloudy, like it tends to be here in Homer. And fortunately, I have a spiritual practice, but I also have the help of people like Earl. Earl is the best coach I've ever had. In fact, he was the first coach I had. And he and other people who I turn to, Heart of All Women also, it's good and almost essential to have people in your corner to help you, even if you don't have people. And before I had people, I kept myself motivated because I know I'm here for a purpose. I know there's work I need to do that will benefit many people. And when I struggled, being a nurse was a big struggle, but even as I was doing that, I'd come home and go to my storytelling or go to my writing, and I kept just doing it. And sometimes, even if you have a little hiccup and you stop and you get kind of turned around, the main thing is just to keep coming back to what is important to you, to what makes you happy, and to what you've seen and gotten response from other people. But sometimes we don't know what people like or how we're helping people until they actually tell us. And it might even be a surprise. But if it's something that resonates with you, take it and go with it as far as you can go.
Exactly. I think that is so true. You know, Skywalker, the other thing I want to talk to you about, and then we're going to let our audience know how they can stay connected with you, is about the power that comes with what you do. You know, I think this is another thing that people, for one, don't always recognize that's what it is, but you mentioned something earlier and it made me think about when you talked about, going viral. And I thought about this, that the power that comes with the words that you've been given. Have you gotten into a place where you realize that power and how you choose to use that power?
Yeah. Words are very important. And you have to be conscious of what you say and how you say it and use your words all the time. As a writer, I was always conscious of that, and it was a bit easier when I see something in print to make sure what I was saying was positive or what I wanted to say. But I've actually had to work very hard on myself, not so much when I'm doing my storytelling or talking in front of people, but even just in conversations about myself or about my work. To know that I have to say, this is what I do, to be positive in what I'm doing, and to catch myself when I'm not being positive, to catch myself when I'm shortchanging myself. Because actually one time in my first talk with Earl, I told him I was thinking about starting something. And he said, why are you thinking? Do it. And that's what I'm doing now. And it's really important. And another time I was having a conversation with a woman I knew, and I started talking. I was hesitating about what I was saying. I'm trying to do this. And I realized, no, I'm not trying. I am doing this. This is my activity. This is what I have to offer you or offer the world.
Wow.
But it is something we have to constantly be aware. What they say, we have to be mindful, not just when we're sitting down in a meditative state. We have to be mindful all the time.
For sure. So true, and what a great reminder for all of us. Again, everyone, Skywalker Payne has been our guest. Great conversation with you, Skywalker. We've been talking with her not only about the journey to discovering her voice, but also using her voice to touch the world in a variety of ways, as you heard her talk about here. Just a few of the ways that we focused on, of course, her being a love of words, being able to share a love of poetry, of course, also as a storyteller and as a voiceover artist as well. So, Skywalker, let our audience know, how can they stay connected with you and keep up with all the great things going on with you?
My business is Vibrant Velvet Voice. You can find it online as vibrantvelvetvoice.net, on Facebook, on Twitter, Vibrant Velvet Voice. Those are the main ways. If you go and check my website out, I've got you can sign up for my mailing list. I have a Facebook page, and I'll have a Facebook group and Twitter. And I'm on Instagram, as Vibrant Velvet Voice. Okay.
All right. So make sure you all are definitely staying connected with her. This really was a pleasure, Skywalker. I should say for our magazine subscribers out there that Skywalker will also be featured in our upcoming issue of the magazine, our April-May issue. Looking forward to doing that. And Skywalker, goes without saying, you're welcome back here anytime. Looking forward to speaking with you again.
Thank you. It was likewise a pleasure.
Oh, thank you for that. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. If you all came in late and missed part of the conversation with Skywalker, don't worry. Thanks to our online friends, you all can catch the replay right after we go off the air. The link is already available through our social media sites. So head over to Facebook.com/Cyrus Webb or go to Twitter.com/Cyrus Webb. If you click on the link there, you can listen to the show completely for free and share with your friends from there too. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music as well as a great book. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. You all make it a great one.